My name is Brielle Ivy. I'm here today with my fiance and producer, Travis Adsit. He's doing a great job already getting me all set up, so pretty much all I have to worry about is playing. He's got the mic, he's got all the rest of the gadgets and cameras, so it's a really nice Saturday, holiday weekend, and I just wanted to share with you some of my practice time. And I hope you'll share with me your tips and tricks with classical guitar. I've actually been playing since I was 6, but it's been an on and off affair. Between age 6 and 15, I played almost every day, and it was definitely a big part of my life, and then life got in the way. So I haven't, since 15, been extremely consistent, but I am trying to get back into it with the support of my fiance. So one of the first pieces I'd like to dive back into is Vuelvo by Astor Piazzolla, means Return to the South. I always have loved Astor Piazzolla. He is definitely an inspiration, 20th century composer. He is Argentinian. He has an Italian last name, just like the Pope himself, who is also Argentinian with an Italian last name, because Argentina is actually full of all sorts of European immigrants, just like the United States has actually a similar history with immigration. So Germans, Italians, all sorts of European nationalities migrated to Argentina in the last couple of centuries. So I think Astor Piazzolla probably is of Italian descent, although I'm not entirely sure. He does have an Italian-sounding last name. But he is famous for his 20th century South American music, and my favorite pieces by him are many of his tangos. So he is prolific at writing tangos. They're originally written more for accordion and piano, but they're beautiful when they're adapted to the guitar. So I would encourage you to look at other videos of this same piece, Vuelvo al Sur, on piano especially, because it's very close to the arrangement for the guitar. So I've been actually listening to some of the piano on YouTube to kind of orient myself on how some of the rhythms and notes should be played. Again, I've been rusty. I haven't been practicing a whole lot, but I've been starting to practice again. So you and I will be learning together. And again, I encourage us to be a community, and this isn't going to be so much a performance as it is going to be just a hangout session. Feel free to chat. And my producer, Travis, will be helping me out if there's a couple questions that we can all work through together. So I'm not going to promise to have all the answers, but I can also do the research and we can learn together. So just to give you a taste, if you haven't ever heard a piece by Astor Piazzolla, I know I said this won't be a performance, this will be a practice session, but I would actually like to perform one piece of his for you, very beautiful, ausencias. In Spanish that means absences. So he's missing someone as he writes this. And the first introduction to the piece is tempo molto rubato, which means, it's actually Italian, not Spanish, that particular phrase. It means, loosely, very emotional, with no regard for the rhythm or the tempo of the actual written note. So you can be very creative, and I really like this intro because of that. And then the second part of the piece is tempo non rubato, which means you are actually supposed to play to the rhythm of the piece. So I will perform that very quickly just to give you a taste of his style, and then we'll move into the practice piece for the practice session. I should also mention before I start that this is specifically arranged by Boozy and Hawks Music Publishers. Just want to give credit where it's due. Just because this is I don't think this was originally written for the guitar. So someone did a lot of work so I could play this. All right, ausencias. practice Vuelvo, Astor. I've already been working on it now for a week or two, not every day. But one thing that's a little bit of a challenge is some of the rhythm, as always. And then also, I'm not playing it to speed yet. It shows that the tempo is 76 beats per minute for the introduction, and then 104 beats per minute for the actual tango part. This is definitely not the speed that I'm capable of right now, not without making lots of mistakes, kind of like a Beat Saber session where you're missing half the blocks. I just played Beat Saber earlier. It's on my mind. So, yeah, I will definitely have to play a slower version. I'll probably break out the metronome here pretty soon. What I like to do generally when I'm practicing is when I first start, I play the whole piece through, regardless of how bad it sounds. And then I actually play, I might kind of stop and replay certain parts. But this piece in particular, the first introduction section, you can see here, probably bars 4 through 10 are challenging because there's a lot of bar chords that require you to really hold down your index finger in your left hand. You get tired and sore pretty quickly, especially if you're playing over and over. It feels like you're going to start getting carpal tunnel in your wrist because you're just really having to use tendon and muscle strength to maintain those chords. So that's definitely a concern, is you can practice over and over those specific bars, and it's kind of like you peak, where like, yeah, you get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. It's a positive slope, and then all of a sudden it's negative because your hand actually gets so tired that you actually, even though your technique might be a little bit better, you might have more muscle memory on where your finger should be placed, you also are tired, so you don't execute as crisply. Your notes start sounding very fuzzy. So that's been my experience. So that's definitely something I'll probably be working on today, but not excessively, so I don't start to dip as far as the crispness of my notes. And then, let's see what else is kind of a trap in this piece. I think I still need to grapple with some of the rhythm for the very last section. It still has a tango rhythm, but it's not the main tango. And it also has a harmonic at the 17th fret, if you can believe it. So that's not typical for a lot of classical guitar. Normally you have it at the 19th fret here, or you have it at the 12th fret, or the 7th, or the 5th. So it's pretty out of the ordinary to see it at the 17th. I have chosen thus far not to do a harmonic at the 17th, but instead to just execute a crisp note with a rest stroke. That way it resounds clearly. Actually not rest stroke. I don't think I use rest stroke because I have to pluck several other notes. It's a rasguiato chord. So it's actually a free stroke, but I do try to very crisply intonate that note. And it's something that I don't think I could do if I were trying to do a harmonic along with the rasguiato for the rest of the notes for those chords. So I'll just point to them here so you know what I'm referring to. This chord here, 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 here. Yeah, it's those four. So those ones have definitely been tricky, and I think throwing a harmonic in there is really a bridge too far at the moment. Maybe towards the end of learning this piece, I will go back and return and actually add in the harmonic, but you can see here it is very difficult. Maybe if you go a little more Ponticello, it's still pretty tough to hear. So I'm not even hearing a harmonic. I don't think I'm doing it correctly. I'd have to practice more. So we'll kind of sweep that one to the side for now, and then I might add that back in at the end, or not. We'll see. So I like how it sounds actually when it's just a simple. I like that sound enough to where I don't really feel the need to have a harmonic. If it were at the 19th fret, if it were at the 12th, I think the harmonic would be in order, especially the 12th. The 12th has a very nice, robust harmonic. Right, it's very loud. It has a clear tone. Um, I think I would do it then, but not at the 17th. That's ridiculous. So, all right, let's get this started. My hands are a little sweaty because I'm a little nervous, so that might affect some of my playing, but let's give this a go. Alright, I know it's rough. Still working on it a lot. I did skip all of the repeats and the DSL Fine, so that's why it was so short. Normally it would be more than twice that length with the repeats. So if I'm performing for an audience, we'll definitely do the repeats, but we won't waste time on that right now. I think you get the gist. So I think definitely one of my roughest spots right now is the intro. So we'll work on that. I might whip out the metronome in a couple minutes once I feel like the muscle memory for some of the hardest bars is a little better, and we'll go from there. So hard. So bar 7, definitely a challenge because with this one you play your C natural and then your B flat, and then now you have to stretch to C on the fourth string, and then you have to simultaneously play a B flat on the first string, and you have to do that while maintaining a bar on the sixth fret for all of the notes that come afterwards. So to maintain that bar, right, reaching that C on the fourth string, maintaining the bar so that you maintain your B flat on the first string, but keeping this entire index finger bar means that the fat of my index finger actually overlaps this fret, the sixth fret into the seventh, and so you don't get this crisp B flat. You get a very buzzed B flat, which is also including a little bit of a B. So you get kind of a B flat B mixed together with this really yucky fuzzy sound. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what to do about this. It plagues me every time. There's a couple times I've been able to maybe get it, but it's more by chance than actual ability to execute every time. So I do need a consistent way to get a crisp B flat there. So I'll just kind of circle here what I'm referring to. It's this note right here. It's really pesky because you're keeping that bar on the sixth fret through this bar. Yeah, so these two bars, the notes depend on you maintaining that sixth fret bar across all six strings with your index finger. Because you can see here you also have a B flat and a B flat and a B flat on your sixth string. So you actually have to keep that bar held down across all six strings that whole time and get a crisp B flat on the first string here, which is definitely a challenge. Just physiologically, your finger fat will compress. I think if I maybe had longer fingers, I could hit the C with my fourth finger on my left hand, and then still be able to execute clearly on that B flat. But I think it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. So I might think about doing like a partial bar there, maybe across the first three strings. Problem is you can only keep that up for one note following, which is this D flat. Once you go back to the B flat on the sixth string, you have to extend the bar back to the sixth string. So this is a tough one. Maybe I could actually nix the C on the fourth string. I don't know if it really adds that much. It does add a little bit of depth, but the melody is that B flat on the first string. So I might be able to just drop the C. That might make my life a little bit easier and make it so I can clearly execute the B flat. Let's try the partial bar first, and then I might think about actually dropping that C. Before you say, well, really, you didn't really struggle with it that long. I actually have been struggling with it for a while. So we'll see how these alternatives all sound. So first off, let's start back at bar 5. So I'll be starting back here, and then I'll play into bar 7, which is the one in question. Oops. Slightly better. Still though, not that great. So that's the bar on the 6th fret across all 6 strings. So let's try the partial now. Again, starting at bar 5. Let's try from the top at line 5. that's still tough. I am going to probably get rid of that C. I don't totally like doing that, but that's a tough one. So I want a crisp B flat. That's more important to me than having the depth of that bass note. So let's just try it with the B flat. No C. Starting again at bar 5. Can't just get rid of that C because I still have to keep a bar for the D flat. What am I gonna do? There's got to be a way to adapt this to my fingers. I have a feeling this arrangement was written for someone with slightly longer fingers. They normally are. Bar. Ditch the bass note. It doesn't sound quite as good without the bass note, the bass C, but I know it's kind of silly I'm calling this C a bass, since it's still in the basically the treble range, but it is on the 4th string, so it's the bass complement for the B flat on the 1st string. Let's see. Okay, that might be good enough. That might be good enough. Is there anything else? What if I did? No, I think that's probably as good as it's gonna get. Alright, I'm going to start from measure 5. It's hard to even execute that D flat with my finger on the 6th string as a bar. It's pretty tough. I might just have to focus on finger strengthening. What if I did this not on the... Let's see, so I could do, let's see. So, okay, something just occurred to me. I know this isn't great practice, but these are challenging to hold that bar on the 6th fret for both of these measures. If I were to have these first 4 notes be on the 6th fret, that would make sense, but then when I do the, what would you call this, the arpeggio of it for the next 3 sets of 4 notes, so half of this measure and this full measure here, I could do all of those notes on the 1st fret. I just have to shift the key down. So I might try that actually. Let me see what that would sound like. Okay. Yeah, so I'd still do a bar chord, but I would only do it to the 5th string instead of the 6th. Let's see if that makes a difference. Oops, D flat. Okay, that is easier. That is a lot easier. So I might actually do that. I might shift. I know it's not great practice, but these are some pretty challenging fingerings if I stay at the 6th fret. So let's try a bar on the 1st fret, only go to the 5th string for that measure and a half, and I'll take it back to the top at measure 5. Still not perfect. Wait, I don't actually have to do a bar, do I? Yeah, I don't. Retry. Okay, that's better. Okay, so that might be my solution. So we'll keep 1st fret, and then it won't be a bar, it'll be simply 1, fingering will be 1, this will be a 4, if you're wondering what that pencil mark is, that's a natural, it's not a 4, but I just wrote a 4, and then this will be, my C will be a 2, my D flat will be a 3. Yeah, I'm happy with that. In fact, actually it's not so bad. It's not great to do that transition from the 6th fret to the 1st fret like that, but it's actually not quite so bad because you can see here that you're actually already going, once you go to your F on the 1st string, you're going to the 1st fret anyways. And then here you travel back up to 4th fret, and then back to 2nd fret. So this actually kind of melds. It's not perfect, but it kind of melds. So that's a real technical term, melds. All right, I'm gonna go back to the top at measure 5, which is at the 7th fret. More bar work. I think my wrist is starting to give me a little pain when I do it. It's getting a little tired, but we'll carry on. Used to it. I can already tell it's going to be a better choice. The unfortunate part about pieces like this by Astor Piazzolla is, this isn't the tango, this is the intro. It doesn't say rubato, but it does have a little bit of that feel. And it's quite abstract, lots of flats and sharps and unexpected places. So it definitely has a little bit of a very artistic, almost, what's the word I'm looking for? Film noir? I don't know, kind of feel. Like it's just a little bit out of the ordinary. And it's supposed to feel that way, but when you're first practicing it, you don't have it, you don't have it down fluently. It sounds very awkward. It sounds like I'm just playing wrong notes, which in some cases I am, because I'm still learning, but even the right notes can sound like wrong notes when I'm playing in this halted learner sort of way. But once I do gain fluency and I can play it without the staccato stopping to check what the note is, it'll sound better. And that's why I encourage you to listen to some piano performances of this specifically, and also guitar, on YouTube just to hear how this does flow. It does have a nice flow once you get it up to the recommended 76 beats per minute or higher. But for now, it sounds kind of bad. Thank you. Travis is so nice. Alright, so it just sounds a little in the bizarre, right, when you're just playing it super slowly. But once you speed it up, you'll hear how it's supposed to flow, and that these sharps and flats aren't actually that bizarre. They're just very Latin, and they have a flair. So, and Ozzy, no. We have a half lab, half husky, and he's happy to be part of the production here. But we also don't want him getting the wires. Bye, Oz. All right. Oh, I said I'd start at measure 5. Okay. Definitely the transition there from 6 to 1st fret needs to be improved, but I think it's still a better option than what I was doing before. Okay, so let's now start from the top. Okay, let's try the metronome. Thank you. Travis is my producer and my cheer team. He's telling me I'm doing good, so thank you, Travis. I'm lucky to have you. Alright, so I'm going to use Guitar Tuna. It's a nice app, makes things very, very convenient. And it has metronome, tuner, all sorts of other tools. I remember when I was a kid, my guitar teacher would actually use a tuning fork. He might be a little disappointed nowadays that I'm using an app like this that just listens with a microphone for tuning, but it's very convenient and I don't have to do much work. So the metronome, same thing. I remember the old-fashioned metronomes we used to have. Even the little pendulum one, I didn't have one, but I'd seen one that people had, and you'd change the weighting. That was interesting. And I had an electronic one as a kid, but it was still very old technology compared to my smartphone of today. We'll start with a really low beats per minute. I actually have it set to 60 right now. That's what I was practicing with earlier. I might set it as low as 50, just to make sure that I'm, to the best of my ability right now, executing notes crisply and correctly. Just keep the beats as slow as possible. That might be too slow. Go back to 60. 60 is pretty slow. That's already like, what, adagio? Alright, we'll try 60. Measure 5. Okay, let's start from the top again. I think 60 is okay. Oh no, 60 is an adagio. I think it's lento. Sorry. Again, I'm rusty. Sounded a little better, and I had to start over again at, what was it, measure 5 or 6 again? Those are definitely trouble measures, but I'm feeling a little more confident. From the top. Measure 5. Okay, let's start from the top. I'm actually going to turn this down to 55 because I think the transition between measure 4 and measure 5 is a little tricky for me. So I'm just going to slow it down even more. I know it's already at a slow beat, but this is the down and dirty of practicing. You see everyone up on the stage with flashy guitar playing, but they all go through this.
We'll see you on the stage.
Oh no. One second. I'm going to stretch my wrist a little bit. Okay, beats way off. I think I'm going to give my wrist a rest and focus on the tango part a little bit, and I will come back to the intro and go back to 55 beats per minute. So let's focus on the tango. That'll give my wrist a little bit of a rest, and then I can come back and see if I sound any better or maybe worse.
That is up 10 minutes to an hour.
Okay. Thanks.
So you're feeling low as we're getting to the end.
Alright, I have it at 65. I always miss that A. I get so lazy. Okay, so the A right there, do not miss Brielle, and what else did I do? I also messed up something over here. I can't remember what I did. Alright, from the top. I might actually go back down to 60 on the metronome. I know. I'm overly conservative. Oops. Oops. Okay. Missed my bass note again. Here it's my F sharp. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's start from the top. That non-execution of the E drew me. Okay, I'm gonna start from the top at measure 23. Oh, I did it again. Okay, so I'm gonna write down the fingering here for my E on the second string. It's gonna be a 3. I also did not, let's see, did I do, yeah, I keep forgetting to do this B, execute the B, which is on the 3rd string because we're doing our F sharp on the 2nd string, that 3rd fret bar. So let me start from the top on this guy. Okay, and now I just forgot the C. I remembered that B, and then I forgot the C bass. There we go. Oops, forgot my F sharp. I should follow my own fingering that I wrote down. Oops, okay. So this one, I just right before the video wrote down the counting for the notes here on, what is that, measure 27, where it actually starts with the new, kind of a little bit of a new tango feel, but it's not as lively as the first one. So let's see if I can capture the counting here. I think it's 1 and 2, 3, 4. So here we go. Oops. There we go. I think that was it. Oops. Oops, I did not do that on the first beat. Oof, that D would have been the first beat. Okay. Yeah, okay. So that's a big slide there. Let me just go back to measure 11, and let's see how this is just the overall main tango sounds again. Oops, forgot my F sharp again. When I follow my counting, I have it like this. sound like how I hear other people perform this. I hear them perform it like this. Oops. No, not like that. It's a little bit more of like a tango. I don't know how to describe it. I guess the best way to describe it is that you would treat that first note of every measure as if it were a half note rather than a dotted quarter. The problem is this chord does have half notes in it. No, it has whole notes, but you're not expected to play whole notes there because it's mixed with the dotted quarters. So it should be 1 and 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I hope my counting is correct. It does feel a little bit stilted though to do 1 and 2, 3, 4. It doesn't sound so much like a tango. Maybe it's because the people I've been listening to are already past the metronome stage and they're kind of building their own tango-like rhythm. But I don't see any triplets either that are kind of typical of some of the South American music, like our drag notes, drag triples. I don't see any of those. So I don't know. I'm going to go with what is marked for now, which is 1 and 2, 3, 4. But yeah, I might change that as the piece progresses. Alright, so we're almost out of time. I do want to go back to the intro and see if it sounds any better. We'll see. Now that I've given my wrist a rest. Not really. It's still been active. But let's just see. Let's just see how it sounds. And if it's worse, then I'll just say that my wrist is tired. And when I'm back a week from now, hopefully I've made some progress and it sounds a little better. Let's see how these notes sound. I might turn my metronome down to 55. Goes with the intro today. I'm a little happier with that. I don't know why my B flat on my 6th string is sounding so much different than my B flat on my 5th string. That was a little surprising. Okay, they sound pretty identical there. That's an F natural, so was I not doing the C? Yep, I think I missed the C. I think that's why it sounded so weird. So it wasn't actually the B flat sounding any different. It was the C on the 4th string. It's a C natural, and then when I put the C natural on the 2nd string, I think it didn't sound right because I wasn't playing the C natural on the 4th string on the 2nd half of measure 7. So let's just try that real quick. Okay, that almost worked, except I did play an F sharp on the fourth string on measure 8, which made it sound strange. So let's go back actually to measure 5, so kind of from the top, and we'll see how it sounds. Oops. I didn't hit the F natural correctly, nor the C natural. So let's go back to measure 5. Ooh, I didn't go back to the first fret. Alright, let's start back at measure 5. Okay, starting back at measure 5. Okay, so I did execute the transition from the 6th fret to the 1st fret a lot more seamlessly than I had been, so maybe not seamless, but more seamless. So I'm a little bit happy with that. I think that would probably be a good place to stop. And next week, hopefully, I am at a better spot with the introduction. It flows more, and hopefully I'm able to also increase the tempo a bit. Hopefully closer to the 76 beats per minute that's recommended. And then I'm also hoping to, I think another rough spot that I didn't really spend time on today is actually the last 5 measures, just kind of the closing out of the piece. It needs a little more flow, so I just need to practice it more to gain a little fluency. I think the intro, though, needs more than just fluency. It needs, like, some strengthening of my wrist and my fingers, and also just making that transition from the 6th fret to the 1st fret a bit faster without really needing to think about it. It needs to be more muscle memory. Now that I've chosen to drop the C natural bass on that B flat on measure 7, because it was just too much of a stretch and I couldn't get a crisp B flat. And then also now that I've decided to do the first fret for my I don't know what you call it, arpeggio, for the second half of measure 7 and all of measure 8. Now that I've made that change, I need to learn how to do it, how to make that transition a bit more seamless. So those are things I'll be working on. Those are my objectives over this next week. I look forward to seeing you next weekend. And actually, if any of you would like to also learn Vuelvo, excuse me, I've been speaking a lot, Vuelvo Astor by Astor Piazzolla, please share your experiences with me as well, and we can go through this journey together of learning this piece. It'd be really cool if there were several of us learning this piece at the same time. And that way too, I think my videos would have a bit more value for you as a listener. You can kind of see some of my struggles and see if they compare to your own, and then share with me your experience. So feel free to comment on this live stream, and I will see you next week.